Hello YouTube, you got me VGH. We are going to go over what is going to happen with the rotation. Basically the biggest cards in the set and what we're going to be losing, what sets we're going to be keeping, and everything in between. I've also brought in another very skilled, very good player, friend of mine, Nelson Gillian, aka Moxie Roxy. If you want to check him out on Twitch, say hi Moxie.
Hey guys, thank you for having me here.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to try and bring in some other streamers, other YouTube content creators for Pokemon, try and get a little bit more, I would say, diversity with the stream, a little bit more audience with people who are from other streams, other important players in the game. If I can get them, I want to do it. If you guys have anyone you guys want to see, obviously, let me know. I'll try and reach out. So today's video, we're just going to go straight over to what we want to go over with the newest rotation that's going to be happening either in late March, early April. Nelson is going to be putting in his 2 cents on the cards and what we can expect. He knows a little bit more than I do when it comes to professionally playing certain decks. So let's get into it. So first off, this is the E-Block rotation, which means cards that are still in rotation start with Battle Styles and end with Scarlet and Violet Paradox Rift. That's what's going on right now. The rotation is rotation date is set for late March, early April, but sets from Battle Styles all the way to Fusion Strike are what's getting rotated out. The first set, these are the cards that exist that are going to be rotated out that I thought were like the biggest, most impactful cards. Moxie, what do you think on these guys right here? In terms of, I guess we'll just go from top left to bottom right. And look, listen, I made this thing in like a half hour, so if it doesn't look pretty, it's not pretty, and I know why, okay? You don't gotta point it out. But
No. You definitely have some of the bigger contenders that are here, of course. Like a lot of people are predicting like Gardevoir is going to be hurt through just the level ball itself, and also with Baby Guardy rotating out.
yeah,
I think Urshi is going to be a big play. Once it gets rotated out, a lot of the single prizers decks are going to be a little bit more better off, because just for example, like I used to play Grafaiai that does 320 damage when you discard energy from your hand.
I'm gonna have to put a fucking picture of that on the screen now. Thanks for that. No one knows what Grafaiai does.
The biggest menace to it though was Inteleon, just because you can get 2 to 3 prizes in one turn, whereas Grafaiai has to work for it. So it's kind of like that being gone is gonna help a little bit more with those slower decks to kind of like pick up in pace. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I'm like looking at this like when Rapid Strike Chilling Rain rolls out, we lose all the Rapid Strike, Single Strike, and Fusion Strike cards, so I don't want to load the page with 4 different arts of Rapid Strike Urshifu. There's Rapid Strike Urshifu V, VMAX, and then there's the Single Strike Urshifu V, VMAX, which also saw play in the Lugia decks. Octillery is Rapid Strike Search, so it's a very big contender if you're using any kind of Rapid Strike deck, so losing all of them does kind of suck. The supporters, honestly, there weren't that many supporters. Like Rapid Strike Mustard is a Single Strike Mustard, whatever. But Bruno and Cheryl are pretty big. A lot of people used Bruno and Cheryl whenever it came to a niche card. Like a lot of single prize decks ran Bruno as their deck reconstructor. They're able to just reset their hand. Cheryl, huge with anything that can attack with like low energy costs, 0 energy costs, 1 energy costs, because one of the first decks I played when it came out, Magnezone EX, 330 HP. You punch him in the face, he survives, but he only needs 1 energy to attack. So you can just go Cheryl, heal him to full with 330, and that sets your opponent back 2 turns. So it was a lot of fun to play. What do you think about how grass Pokemon might do when it comes down to like Cherim, like getting rotated out, and Energy Recycler? That's gonna hurt like Lost Zone, really.
Yeah, I mean, so grass decks kind of is, so far it's just been very dependent on the meta. I don't think, unless you're planning to use like Fortress EX to set yourself behind and then pick yourself up with Iron Hands EX, like do that crazy combo. Grass decks right now, I don't know. I don't really know if Garvana's Vigor, I'm pretty sure that's rotating out as well.
Wait, who?
I'm not sure, but I think it's going to be very dependent on the meta. I don't think it's per se these cards themselves that are going to make a difference.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Obviously, I did put it in gold in the bottom left right there, the escape rope. I didn't realize it. I honestly had no idea level ball or escape rope was going out until after I checked this out. I could have sworn that I saw one of these two reprinted Scarlet Violet. I was wrong, and I'm sad about it. Escape rope is definitely that card that people... It was like a staple one of in every deck under the sun. If you weren't like running one of these, it's like, where's your escape rope? Because everyone had one. Most decks would run at least one switch and at least one escape rope. If not, obviously more, because you're running Lost Box, whatever it may be, Iron Valiant. But losing escape rope, I feel, is kind of weird. It's going to be a little weird for the format, because like we'll make an entire other video on cards that are coming in that we have learned about, Buddy Poffin and other crap like that. Then there's a new like Boss's Orders escape rope fusion item card that's gonna come out, so that one's gonna be fun. But escape rope is just like one of those like tried and true cards. That thing's been played since Sun Moon base, I think, if not earlier.
Yeah, it's kind of escape rope's gonna hurt some decks, and it won't hurt some other ones. It's one of those cards that like some decks would just use counter catcher plus switch, right? If they're behind. However, some decks like Lost Box, I mean Mew, it's very core in Mew because sometimes you just want to judge and then escape rope and then hit a Guardy, but now it's like now you're gonna be forced to kind of use a boss or that new card that you're talking about that does like the Guzma effect or cross switcher.
Yeah, it's definitely or counter catcher. It's more or less like, how do you like one of the easiest combos or counters to beating a Mew box player is just like, if they get path and you remove their hand and they don't have a way to remove path to the peak, you can just like boss up a Genesect or something like that, and that thing gets locked there. Like, it's unless they find the double turbo, it's like, oh, now it's stuck, and then just start snipering the bench.
Right.
So
like
I
this
mean,
weekend, like for example, this weekend I decided to go with Clef for the Portland regionals. And then at the last minute, my buddy, he kind of like sold me on like no escape rope, just switch. And I went up against a Valiant deck. I had no boss in hand. If I had the escape rope, I could have knocked out like a 2-prizer, but because their Entei that was in the active spot had a Bravery Charm on it, I could not go around it. So, you know, in situations it will help you, but it's very situational. Of course.
Definitely a situational card. Let's go over to the next line. If anyone has anything to say about these cards, what they're most afraid to lose or what most upset about losing in battle styles, obviously just put it in the chat and maybe go over it in a future video. Obviously, if you guys haven't already seen the video, this is just a quick plug right up there. Durant Mill, I made a video for it and it's crushing it. It's so much fun to play. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Our next
was big.
set. This is the killer of things. Chilling Bloody Rain. We're losing Shining Arcana Gardevoir. The mini Gardevoir that sets up all that big damage, gone. And in a future slide, Celebration Zacian is also going away. So the Zacian and the Shining Arcana Gardevoir that did the same thing, both gone. So that's gonna be very fun to figure out. Moltres V. It's not super well known, but it is a key component in the Roaring Moon list, I would have to say, because of Energy Switch, and it's just useful. Echoing Horn has been seen in niche decks, but obviously Moxie and myself both run Snorlax, so we both still have it in control, and a lot of control lists run it as well. Yes, thank you. Avery, another control card. Peonia and Peony, both are just now seeing play in control lists and turbo lists. Fog Crystal, another huge hit for psychic decks everywhere. Clara is big for just, you know, resetting your resources. But the big hit, Path to the Peak. With Path being gone, what's left? Like, how do you stop abilities? Like, this thing was the thing.
Yeah, I mean, unless you want to scam people off like Klefki.
Yeah.
Or something in that direction, but that's still, it's not gonna be enough.
No, it's not. It's too easy to boss. It's too easy to just knock it out. It's just Path to the Peak was the card, man. It was the card.
I mean, I imagine they might print something to help out with the abilities, because I feel like just letting Charizard get a free acceleration is gonna make it really hard to deal with.
Yep. If it definitely accelerates Zard being able to just not have to worry about. There's actually 0 stadiums that are in the meta after Path goes away that are effectively useful in almost any deck. It does also hurt Giratina that Path to the Peak is gone, because Path to the Peak was kind of Giratina's way of stopping abilities as well. Because obviously Tina doesn't have any abilities in its deck, so maybe...
Like Miraidon. It stopped Miraidon's in its track. It stopped Roaring Moon from Squawkabelling. Like, just that one instant just stopped that whole matchup from happening.
Exactly. So, like, Path to the Peak, just losing it now is just so painful to see. Like, I don't know. I really don't know what deck is gonna... Like, the meta is gonna shift so hard after this. We still have Paldean Fates, by the way, as a reminder to everybody who's watching the video, but we still have Paldean Fates, and we still have the next set after Paldean Fates. I don't remember its name off the top of my head. Do you know, Moxie?
I do not know.
No, I forgot. But that next set has a lot of really cool stuff coming out of it. I'm gonna make a separate video for that as well, but I didn't have the time yet. So, and Nelson is bloody leaving, so I can't make a video with him after this.
Yeah, of course. Like, I had to look up some of the online tournaments that were happening. Like late nights was doing like a future format, and a lot of the decks that were popping up in the top were like Charizard, Roaring Moon, Go Dingo. Lost Box is kind of just not there. And I think it's just because of the VIP. And then you'll talk about that later on. But I'm just saying the VIP pass is not there.
Yeah, it's the last set.
But Charizard is making Roaring Moon and Charizard are making a really good impact, because again, there's nothing really slowing them down.
Which, since you said that, grass decks, hey, super effective.
Exactly.
Just bringing it up. All right, well, let's move on to Evolving Skies. So I obviously didn't have enough room to place basically everything on here, but I also thought a lot of them were redundant. But in Evolving Skies, that's when all the EVs got printed. So every Evolution is gone, every V-Star VMAX gone. But I only put the 2 most important ones that actually did see play during the set. Leafeon Greening Cells and Umbreon VMAX. Umbreon VMAX had a little bit of time to shine, where it was actually winning tournaments for a little bit with Umbra Arc Dura? I don't remember what it was called exactly, but it was those 3 guys. As a super control based list, because Umbreon is just a walking boss's orders, which was pretty neat. We're losing Umbreon and Duraludon from the list, so all you got left is Arceus from that deck. So, I mean, Arceus is going to still see play. We're losing our good friend Medicham, which the scam multi-turn Medicham, very powerful, but I honestly don't believe too many decks are running it outside of Inteleon Urshifu and maybe Iron Valiant and Entei. 50-50 on if you're running that or not. Zorobox did see a little bit of play. It was one of those decks that people go like, hey, this is a thing, for like 20 seconds and then no one plays it ever again. Yeah. And then Pumpkaboo also saw its time in the limelight. Rescue Carrier, always effective in evolution decks, which does kind of suck because they're kind of leaning more towards evolution decks. So Rescue Carrier will be more effective in my opinion. And then the big hits: Zinnia's Resolve, Raihan, and Flaffy. Yikes with the Flaffy. What are your take on some of these cards you think would be, devastating to lose? Obviously, the Flaffy is one of them.
I think Metachan is actually a big one, because...
You think?
Like, it's one of those things where you just didn't want your little guys to get... Of course, your little guys are going to get picked off by the Valiants, but now it's like, you don't have to worry about the opponent taking an additional turn. Like, that alone would make you not want to put down Babero. But, like, if you could put down 2... or like with the Chen Pal list, putting down 2 fridges, at least you can like have another one set up. Whereas instead of like them scamming you with like taking another turn, and then doing it again to a different one. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah,
like,
I can see that.
So that might help out a little bit with those kinds of lists. And of course, yeah, like you're saying, Raihan was pretty big. and then Resolve was being seen in Guardy, but now that Guardy is going to get hurt by a little bit by the rotation, I don't know if it's going to see as much play.
Yeah, I've always seen Zinnias as like a one of, at most two of, because you still discard. It's got the Ultra Ball effect, discard two, but you draw equal to your opponent's bench. So most decks like to load their bench. In this current meta, I'm pretty sure I can't really think of too many decks that don't fill their bench.
But now with VIP Pass being gone, I don't know how fast people are gonna get their board set up unless they play like Bombardier EX or something.
Yeah, and Miraidon as well. Miraidon will just full set the bench. So I mean, if Miraidon sees huge amounts of play, that's one thing. There is the call for family Pidgey if what's it called, Charmander, and if the Zard deck sticks around. Roaring Moon loves to set up its full bench just because it's able to get, you know, Moltres and such like that. With Moltres rotating, it's hard to tell if they want to use that Turbo Squawk ability with all those ability cards and such. Oh no, I think literally the next slide. No, when did Dark Patch come out? Did I miss that card?
Patch?
Shoot.
Dark Patch is probably coming out. I can do a little bit of research real quick.
Yeah, my bad on that one. I forgot to check that one. It is F block. Okay, so yeah, it came out in Astral Radiance. So you know, so that one sticks around. Good enough.
Correct.
I thought it rotated. I was like, did I miss that one? We'll move to the next one though. Not because I accidentally clicked on it or anything. Celebrations, very small set. Literally, I think every card in the set that was new was being used for a pretty solid amount of time. Flying Pikachu V and VMAX came out. Surfing Pikachu V and VMAX obviously weren't used, but they did come out in the set. The newer cards that also were released were Kyogre, Mew, and Zacian. And all of these are huge. Kyogre is going to be leaving Lost Box. There's very few decks outside of like gimmick decks that I would think of. Maybe like Kyurem VMAX that could be potentially used with Kyogre, I guess. Celebrations Mew was fantastic, or is fantastic, in so many decks. Like, definitely Gardevoir was the first thing I thought of. Right after Gardevoir is definitely Zard, which is just, you know, it's just known for being able to find that battle VIP or that rare candy they love to go for. Zacian, obviously, the tag team partner, 2-prizer that is able to just put 10 energies on it and not get knocked out, to swing 360 and knock out anything in the entire game with Gardevoir EX. And then Flying Pikachu V and VMAX were used with Arceus or sometimes used with Miraidon as that free retreat and having that potential of 160, you can't touch me. So, I mean, Celebrations is small, but every card that was printed in there was crazy.
You know, what I just remembered. So Zacian V and then Sylveon V, not Sylveon, Leafeon V, both had that ability to where they can just search the deck and power something up. Arceus was kind of taking advantage of that. So like even Arceus, Regigigas, that was just popular in Portland. That's what they were kind of using. Like if you use they can power up to Zacian, have like 4 energies on it, and it can swing free onto Mew. So it was using it kind of in that kind of line, kind of strategy. And
I forgot about the Gigas VV Star. Yeah, I didn't get to see too many of those games, but I did see them on list. I thought, I'm still reeling from that. I can't believe people made the Gigas VV Star deck, but yeah, the Zacian Roar of the Sword and the Greening Cells Leafeon having basically the same ability. Search your deck for an energy, put it on a Pokemon, pass your turn. It gives you the ability to either early game setup or late game finish, where if you know, with Zacian, it's more of a late game finish, or early game setup, and Leafeon is more like just get it on the bench as quickly as possible and then just start cycling your energies out. Yeah, so I mean, those are pretty solid, especially that Mew. I love that Celebration Mew is fantastic. All right, I think we have just this left. Fusion Strike, which makes me really sad because I just picked up the Mew VMAX deck, Fusion Strike Mew VMAX deck, and I thought it was fantastic and fun to play, and it did really well in practice. I was gonna bring it to the regional we're going to hit with Charlotte, but It's got too many Zards, and everyone's playing bloody Spiritomb in their
You know
decks.
what's crazy? So top 16 of Portland, I think there was actually like 4 to 6 Mews.
Yes.
Like I think it's so it kind of happened to me where because the reason why I played Cloth is because I thought that Roaring Moon and Charizard were gonna be like the biggest statted percentage going into Portland when it was actually Tina. But even then, I still hit like
No, I thought
65%.
day one was day one was Charizard. Day one had the most Charizards.
Well, still Charizard and Tina, but still, I was only hitting like maybe one Charizard out of that big percentage.
Yikes.
So like Mew kind of did the same thing. I think they just avoided hitting the Zards, and
Yeah.
if you do that, you're basically hitting everything else I was trying to counter Zard. So like
Yeah.
if the Mew hit Tina, that's fine for them. If they hit Inteleon, good.
Or
And every other matchup, they're just favored towards, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, Mew has so many favored matchups, and I don't know about anyone else, but I don't think I've seen anyone running a Drapion V in their deck for quite some time now. So it's very much just like they don't have that immediate counter. People are running Spiritomb, sure, but even then, you can still work around Spiritomb almost with zero issues. Same, like that's why I run the Fusion Strike version. I think the Fusion Strike version is able to work around Spiritomb way better because I'm even able to just boss something bad up and just use Fusion Strike energies in order to cross Fusion Strike, take Ice Cube's damage, and shoot the Spiritomb on the bench to use my abilities. Like if I can set up a prize map of like 1, 2, 3, or even just a bunch of ones if I have to, I can just bring up bad things and just start sniper monkeying.
Is Drapion rotating?
I don't think I saw it during that. I think it came out Brilliant Stars.
Oh yeah, no, I see it. It comes out in Lost Origins.
Oh, Lost
So
Origin.
single
So
strike, rapid strike.
it's still playable, but it doesn't even do anything because they came out with it after the set of Fusion
Dang.
Strike, which gets rotated. So it's just a dead card.
It is a dead card. That is so sad for Drapion.
Yeah, well, I mean, it saw its time, man. It was wiping up Mew VMAX. It was wiping up Mewtwo V-Star, or Reunion.
It's just chilling in the Lost City right now.
Yes, exactly. Other cards outside of Mew VMAX and Inteleon VMAX, which again, I just didn't put the Mew V, the Genesect, because all of them came from the same set. Inteleon VMAX with Inteleon V, obviously, they all get rotated. All the Fusion Strike cards that were super useful in Mew are getting rotated. Meloetta, Hasta la Pasta. The Fusion Strike energy also getting rotated. The whole Fusion Strike box is going away. So once we lose Mew VMAX, that's why I only put the Mew VMAX there as a quick little reminder. A lot of the current deck lists for control are running Crabominable and 1 Water Energy in order to use the Trigger Avalanche, discard the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. So I put that in there because that is also getting rotated. And Moxie recently found a good workaround with, what is it, Chi-Yu and a Fire Energy?
Yeah, Chi-Yu, Fire Energy, Radiant Zard.
That Radiant Zard, I'm still... that's a whole other video to make. I don't even know what the fuck the Zard does. Moxie, your response, I didn't get to respond to what you said on Discord, but I'm like, what does the Zard do? And his response was, I get it inactive and lose the game. And I'm like, all right.
It does not do anything. I think it does. I think it would do pretty well. I think Hale from Portland played it in a control list with Pidgeot, and they ran like 3 Fire Energy and then 2 double Turbo Energies to like use it reliantly at like 3 to 4 prizes. I think that's a little bit more easier to use it because if you're using it without all the extra energy, you're relying on it hitting at 2, but then at that point they already have another attacker.
Yeah.
I
think the only
super
way,
niche.
I think the reason that it was in there, that's a totally different video. We'll try and stay topic on this, but man, I need to talk to you about that one. We only have a few left here, but I thought a pretty big loss would be Adventurer's Discovery. Even though all these Vs, VMAXs, and V-Stars are getting rotated out, there's still Arceus, which is huge. There's still plenty of Vs and VMAXs and V-Stars that are still in rotation even after this. Giratina being one of them. I know people don't use Adventurer's Discovery in Tina, but I'm just saying, like, there is a lot of still Vs that are still relevant in the meta that are huge. So Adventurer's Discovery I put in here because I figured that was pretty nifty. Another control list card, Sydney. Oh, sorry, go.
Oh, it is definitely big because, like, again, there's no reliable way to find Pokemon, so the V actually accelerates that. So, like, again, with Arceus, like you're saying, it's going to be the one of the decks challenging Zard to be able to. Well, it's not going to be challenging it like directly, but you can still do like Arceus Lycanroc or something, and
Actually,
then
I
use.
saw another streamer, by the way, that was running some of the deck lists that did really well, but they were like weird deck lists from the Portland Regional. He was playing Arceus, Venusaur VMAX,
Exactly.
and Tina. Because Tina
Yes.
just ran Psychic and Grass energies, but Venusaur has a big enough move that has a super effective on Zard, but it has 330 HP, so it's able to survive every Zard attack. So it's able to one-shot Zard and not go down from Zard. So it was a unique list, but I got like top 128, I think. 126, yeah, 128.
Yeah, that was Brian. Brian from Tabletop Village.
Oh, seriously? You know the guy?
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. That's crazy. That dude,
Yeah.
that dude can cook, dude. I love that deck. Furthermore, with another card from the set that's going away, Skater's Park. I know it's not crazy and used in every single deck, but Chen Pao is using it in their current deck lists, along with just that ability to retreat, then use Backscaler, put the energies back down. Skater Park is very strong in that regard. Cram-O-Matic is getting rotated. I know it is very exclusive to Mew VMAX, but I just think no one's really experimented using it in any other deck because it's hard to, if you fail the coin flip in Mew VMAX, you just use Genesect and draw those 2 cards back. Anything else, if you fail the coin flip, you're just down 2 cards. So I can see why it's kind of exclusive to that. I still feel you could use it in B-Barrel, or use it with B-Barrel as a thing, but that's just my opinion. But Cram-O-Matic going away is kind of a sad thing. Losing Cross Switcher, though, this is what's confusing to me. Cross Switcher, even though it's still a it's still a niche switch card because it is Boss's Orders and switch at the same time. It's still like, when I see it, I get afraid. If I see my opponent running it, I am terrified because I know they have ways of making it a thing.
I think that any kind of free Gus effect is pretty strong. Just the fact that you can just, for free, bring something up, and then the combination with that is a Yono when you're down in prizes. That's what makes it super strong. Like, having to be able to boss something at the same time. People aren't expecting of that. Maybe more decks are gonna try to use Counter Catcher, or even that new A spec card, the Guzma effect.
100%.
Yeah, but Cross Switcher definitely gonna hit a lot of the faster decks that played like Pokestop, because that was the whole thing. Because you were able to find it using Pokestop, and now it's like,
and Irida and Arvin and everything that just searches items, you can just go for it. Excuse me. The last not as important card, Sydney, another control card that's being used in a lot of Lax decks, if not every Lax deck. People are running a 1 of it, so I know that a lot of control lists are running it, and it is going to go away. I'm not so sure how badly this really affects it. Maybe
I don't think so, because it's
I use it more for like just knowing what's in my opponent's hand.
Well, the biggest thing that was targeting, because so like, for example, when I was beating all the Tina players in the online tournaments, Sydney was the biggest card because I was basically trying to get all their Path of the Peaks out of the way, and then I was using it to get rid of Jet Energy. But now it's kind of like, without Path of the Peak,
it only hits special. It only hits special energies at that point, and tools. I'm not really sure how many decks are really going to be using tools after rotation. But even then, like, you really just kind of put down like Temple of Sinnoh, which is not getting rotated, by the way. So special energies don't do anything, and if your opponent just doesn't have a removal tool for it, like, it just stops most things.
I think Temple's going to see some play because of the fact that I think there's a new card called Mist Energy that says that the effects of Pokemon, this prevents the effect of Pokemon that this energy is attached to. So it's basically kind of like a Mimikyu effect. No, not Mimikyu, but like... it's
Jirachi, I think? It perfects the effects of attacks from your opponent's Pokemon done to this Pokemon. So, they won't be able... If you actually have... if you actually have Jirachi on the bench, Jirachi protects you from your benched Pokemon from your opponent's basic Pokemon placing damage counters on them. So the active can still get hit, but if you give it that special energy, every Pokemon on your board is protected by the effect of an attack that places damage counters. It's
Correct.
so specific and it's super lame.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to put down Temple, and so there's gonna have to be more counter stadium effects
Yeah.
on your side. So Sydney might have helped out with that. Not really.
I would
Only for
say
control,
Sydney,
but-
if nothing else, you can replace Sydney with like a Lost Vacuum in most cases, and it'll probably just do the same thing. Like,
Right.
if you're running Temple of Sinnoh, you can run Temple of Sinnoh and Lost Vacuum. Just, Lost Vacuum your opponent's card, they'll put down another stadium, you just play your stadium on over it, and then you're like, haha, now I have the stadium lead, so now I can just play it out for the rest of that. Moving forward, though, my little baby boy, I have to bring it up. Everyone who knows me knows that I love Caterpie. And unfortunately, the best version of Butterfree is getting rotated. The Tricolor Scaleless Butterfree, which, when you evolve, it gives your opponent burned, confused, and poisoned. And I worked so hard to try and figure out how to make a deck with this. I made a deck. It does take prizes. It can do things. I've just never won with it yet, but I really wanted to try.
I mean, you still have a Bye-Bye Butterfree, the one that just came
you
out
attack and then you
started-
shuffle your hand back. You shuffle the Pokemon back into the deck. It's completely worth it.
Definitely worth it.
But obviously, the most important card that's going away, Battle VIP Pass. It was so good knowing that Battle VIP was getting rotated so quickly. Like, as soon as the rotation was happening and they said Battle VIP was going away, everyone's like, that's so good. This card is a plague upon the game. Everyone hates it. Because, yeah, I don't know about everyone else, but whenever I play Battle VIP, it's in the all 4 of my copies are on the bottom of my deck. But whenever my opponent plays it, they go, oh yeah, by the way, Battle VIP, Nest Ball. All right, let's go.
Nice.
And I'm like, awesome, man. That takes so much skill. Love that. Love that for you. Just so happy that VIP Pass is going away. Also, oh yeah, there's also Techno Radar, I think, that allows you to get future Pokemon. So like, even though Battle VIP Pass goes away, like the replacement is Techno Radar for future Pokemon decks. So, this is the last slide for cards that are going away. There are specific promo cards that some people may not remember. Professor Burnett, it is very important, even as a one-of in Lugia, to get those Archeops to the discard pile very easily if they can't find ways to get them out of the deck. And honestly, one of the ones that I was really upset about that I didn't realize, Mewtwo V-Union is going away too. I didn't even have a lot of time to play with this card, but when I did, it was so much fun to play. So just being able to, like, oh, you can only do 180 damage to me, I heal to full. That's my attack for the turn. I heal to full, and you can't do anything about it. And then, just, what is it, Final Burn 300 damage? Like, it just eats everything. It's so strong.
Yeah, this could have been a good attacker within, like, the Guardy. Like,
Yeah.
within the Guardy archetype, because they just used this, and then they could have just used Reversal Energy to power up, and then use the final 6 energies.
No,
for
Reversal
the
Energy wouldn't
unit.
work.
No, not on this, but, like, on other attackers.
Oh, yeah.
That way you can go less heavy on the energy. But yeah, it be gone. It's gonna. Well, I mean, it's fairly fun in control. That's what this V unit kind of did.
Yeah, it was able to just go, oh, you can only do 200 damage per turn. I heal 200 damage per turn. Pass. Like, that's
Exactly.
how you just sit there going, oh, you can't do anything? You can't one-shot him? Oh, tragic.
I think Jirachi kind of stopped it a little bit.
Yeah, because it
Right,
places
'cause-
16 damage counters and Jirachi does block. No!
Yeah, 'cause it's a
V-Union isn't
basic.
considered a base.
Oh, it's not.
No, V-Union is its own thing. It actually would get around Jirachi.
Nice. I did not think of that.
Even funnier if they play Jirachi not knowing that. You kill Jirachi, you get a free prize. I've seen it happen where people just like, oh, this effect will work, and then it doesn't. And then they're like, oh no.
Is that the play for regionals?
The
That is pretty
Mewtwo
spicy.
V-Union?
Yeah, that's pretty spicy.
I don't own the card and it's $40 to get it, so I mean, I'm not picking that up, but I honestly, if you can build something pretty, I think a Gardevoir EX Mewtwo V-Union might be very spicy. Hey, I mean,
Nice.
you can legitimately in one move go, oh, okay, I'm waiting. Now's the time. Take all your Mewtwo V-Union parts out of the discard pile, and then just go, I have Gardevoir EX. Gardevoir gives 4 energies. I use a couple energies on my active. Retreat, Mewtwo V-Union. 300 damage.
That's a full Exodia attack.
Yeah, or, you know, if they're using a bunch of smaller Pokemon, you can just place 16 damage counters. I sprinkle the damage, you die. So, I mean, it's an idea. But, those are all the more important cards that are going to be getting rotated from E-Block. Obviously, there is some basics and some evolution Pokemon that did see a teensy bit of time to shine during their respective playtime, but these are obviously what you need to worry about going into your upcoming end of March, early April rotation. So just make sure you pay attention to what decks you're using and maybe think about what you're going to be running after rotation. I'll be doing an upcoming video with what's we know about the next couple of sets that are going to be coming out in between, like Paradox Fates, I believe it's called. No, Paldean Fates, sorry. Paldean Fates, and with the next set after that, since we have seen a couple of the Ace spec cards, which I think there's going to be like 20 of them. But there should be quite a few. Once again, guys, I appreciate you guys coming to the channel. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys are excited for the rotation as much as I am. I am just so sick of Battle VIP. Nelson, is there anything you want to say to our wonderful house party members?
Well, first off, again, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
This was kind of out of the blue, but hey, I always like kind of talking with the people in the community. I think that this online community is amazing because it allows people to be able to play, not having, like, maybe they might not have a strong local community. Them having to play online, meet these people. Like, I've met people in these regionals, and I met Tangman. I just played him the other day. Matt Briggs. I just met him. So, like, just meeting these people is amazing, and I like the fact that you've been able to build a community out of this. I don't stream as much, but I know that you do. So, like, I want to thank you, and I want to thank the viewers.
Every Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday, every 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And there's a big tournament on Sunday, isn't there?
Yes, every Sunday there is the Redacted Paradox tournaments. That one I'm always featuring in. I am the sponsored streamer for the tournament, so I absolutely hope you guys come by and play. If you guys see me in the tournament, you can join my Discord channel, you can join me on the stream, and I will be giving away free codes. That was a really good segue, my guy. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. That's fine here.
Brother gave me a layup on that one.